What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. Today, got an interesting video for you. Little backstory: was rushing around the other day trying to get the 21 race bike ready to go for a test ride. Had a few small things to button up, and got it pretty near there. Decided I'd start it up and let it run a minute, check the oil, that kind of stuff. And started it, idled for a few seconds. I blipped the throttle a couple times, and then right as I was reaching to hit the kill switch, locked up, tighter than a drum. Through some quick investigation, found a hole in the side of the cylinder head. So we'll check that out real quick. As you can see right there, stinking timing chain come off, blew a hole plumb in it. So with that bit of investigation, there's a couple pieces of cylinder head laying here that I found on the floor. Here's two bolts out of it. I can't say for sure. There's a chance that maybe when I was putting the top end on it, I got distracted and maybe I forgot to snug them down, final tighten on them. Or maybe they just failed. It looks like they were pulled out of the camshaft one thread at a time, and the thread was flattened, and then it skipped on to the next one. But by some miracle, when it popped off, it locked up immediately and came off in perfect time. All three lobes of the camshaft were closed. Cylinder's top dead center. Doesn't, other than blowing a hole in my brand new race head I just had built. My stage 2 cam seems to be fine. All that stuff seems to be good. So I already got another stock cylinder head from Matthews Motorsports. Shout out to them. Even with the holidays, he got it here in about 2 days, which was awesome. So I took a stock camshaft inside last night. Went ahead and got it shimmed and ready to go. So we're going to put the stage 2 cam on it. But for this video, we're going to pull the cylinder head off, inspect the piston, make sure everything's cool with it, and maybe even get it put back together. We'll see. So, anyways, let's check it out and see what we can get done. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do, as you can see, I've already got the gas tank, engine cover, carburetor off, airbox out. First thing we're going to do, we're going to grab a 10mm wrench, our socket. We're going to pull the end out of the tensioner here. If you've never done this before, this is the best way to keep your stuff organized. I've taken several of these apart, so I pretty well know where the 10 or 12 bolts that hold the top end together go. So, got that. Now we're going to get our flathead screwdriver. And you stick it up in the little hole, and it releases. You turn it clockwise, and it releases, or draws in the tensioner. Dang, it's almost too long of a screwdriver. And when it gets to the end, well, there's a fine little spot where you can get it to stay out. Well, I guess mine's just going to be a piece of junk. So we'll get an 8mm socket and we'll just pull the whole thing out. So I pulled the center bolt out of my tensioner, and for some reason it's not wanting to lock back, so we're just gonna pull the whole thing out of our way. Two 8mm bolts. I've got another one over here I'll probably put in here because I don't know why that thing all of a sudden isn't wanting to lock back. Lock back perfect. Alright, so now that we got that done, we'll go ahead and take these two engine mounts off each side. They are a 10mm on the top here. Alright, so we got those engine mount bolts, those 4 10mm out. Grab our 14mm and this here little wrench. Actually, we'll go ahead and take the exhaust off first. These two exhaust nuts are 12mm. And that should get that out of the way just enough to get in there. You have to get a little more horsepower. we got that loose there. Something I like to do is these smaller bolts definitely take apart by hand. No reason to risk twisting them off in the cylinder head or in the jug or anywhere really, just to save a few seconds with an impact gun. They're 8mm and they are a pain in the butt to get to when the engine is in the frame. I like to take these loose first since they're so small. Alright, so now that we got those apart, if you're just doing valve shims, checking the specs on your valves, I would recommend tying a rope around this chain, hanging it up somewhere on the handlebars or something. But since I'm pulling the head off, drop her down there. They're very easy to fish out with a pick or something when you come back to them. So next, we'll go ahead and pull the cam tower out of it. And like I said, this is a stage 2 cam. Couldn't believe how much it woke my bike up after that was along with a 13-to-1 piston, or 13.5-to-1, made an astronomical difference. Something to be cautious of here, when you pull this tower off, the oil residue that is in the intake cam buckets, generally your intake shims will stick to it, and sometimes they will fall out. I actually need one of these shims for this other cylinder head. One of the intake valves is just a skosh tighter than what I needed. We'll go ahead and get a magnet and pull the exhaust shims out. It's unfortunate this happened. This cylinder head is brand new. It's got about maybe 6 hours of runtime on it. Brand new kibble white valves, ported, fresh valve seats, whole works. Now it's junk. Alright, now that the cam tower's out of the way, it exposes the 4 head nuts. Those are a stud that go all the way to the base of the motor into the engine cases. They're a 14mm. I like to do them in a crisscross. Now that I broke them loose, we will buzz them on off with, well, maybe with our impact. They do have washers underneath them, so watch that those don't fall down in the engine. And these over here, be careful with them to fish them out. Alright, now all we need to do is we need to pull this unit off right here. Exhaust is already undone. This 4-wheeler has ran, so it'll probably have a little coolant in it right here. Now we're ready to start working the head off. It is a contrary son of a gun to get off there, but once you get her to break free, it'll take right off. Oh. Forgot about my little overflow line over here. And there she is. Unhurt, other than a hole in the side of it. Pretty discouraging. Probably take the valves out of that and save them for a later project. Medic head gasket, multi-layered steel. Well, that's what we got for today. Destroyed cylinder head, pulled it apart. Might try and put it back together tomorrow. Or maybe even later today, we'll see. Again, thanks to Matthews Motorsports for the super quick shipping. Sent me a really good used head. So, hopefully that's our last hiccup so far for the season, because I'm ready to start racing. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe. I'm going to be doing videos like this all season, documenting the race series. Might even try and go to a couple nationals if the work schedule will allow it. But yeah, if you have any questions, any requests for a video, let me know and we'll do it.